Hi. Hi. We're not serving cake today, but we do have cakes in the oven. Laura is baking an apple cake, not an Eccles cake. I don't even know what Eccles is. Is that celebrated in Vancouver?
It's just a type of cake.
A type of cake. Right. Today we're talking about voice, artistic voice. It's kind of like cake. We get to cut into it and have it for dessert or have it for breakfast sometimes. It's what's real for you, what candles you blowing out. It's your wishes, it's your dreams, it's your truth. And today, for Palimpsest Project and International Artists Alliance, Rose is in Vancouver, and Stephanie's in Toronto, and Laura's in the United Kingdom, and Denise is in Quebec, and I'm in Los Angeles. My name's Ross, and yeah, we're going to talk about artistic voice. So the word on the street is, Stephanie, that you're changing your tune, changing your cake.
I'm changing my cake. I'm changing my tune. Well, I'm considering changing my tune.
Mm.
I find that I'm in a not a rut. I think a rut is a strong word, but I've come to a crossroads whereby I'm not sure if I want to continue along the sort of people like portrait um, lane, if I want to stay in that lane, or if I want to do something else. So I actually had a meeting with an art advisor last, when was it? Maybe last, so maybe last Thursday evening, and she came up with some, I don't know, with one pretty good idea, because I like animals too. I like painting animals, right? So she said, well, what about, since I like to paint, you know, representations of energy in portraits. She said, "What about spirit animals?" I'm like, okay, I don't know how into spirit animals I am, but I mean, I've read about it, and I think it's kind of cool, and I love painting animals. So I'm going to do some more research into that, and that might be my next area of interest.
That was one
We'll
of
see.
the artists that Alexis had as one of her examples when we took the course together.
Yes.
There was an artist. I think her name, I can't remember, Paula something. I'm not sure, but
Mm. Mm.
she was one of the I think what was she an example of? Her website offering
Intuitive
consultations, I
visionary
think, or
something,
something.
was that her? She
Who?
did some kind of, she did like an intuitive visionary.
Yes.
She's like
She
tune
did
into
I
your energy
people's
or
remember.
something.
less.
And yeah,
Exactly. She had this
yeah.
like kind of consultation or something that was available on her website, and the way she was presenting it. And basically her thing was doing people's commissioned spirit animals.
And didn't she bury or hide a special crystal, or am I confusing her with another
Yes.
artist?
I think you're
It was,
right.
wasn't she? Yeah,
Yeah.
she would
I don't
actually
remember
paint
that part, but
in or glue in a
Yeah.
crystal that
yeah.
would
Yes.
be
I
of
remember that
benefit
too.
to
Yeah, but
the
Okay.
recipient.
she was basically, kind of like, I guess, an example of that genre that you could
Right.
sort of check out, because I mean,
Mm,
that apparently is a genre.
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Wow.
But
So,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
so
when
Well.
no, go ahead.
it's okay. So, she has a like a genre and call it spirit animal, or it's like her interpretation of whatever that is. Just like you, Stephanie, would want to be your interpretation of what a spirit connection being. It's like not cultural appropriation, I guess, is kind of what I'm trying to lead, because in some way that type of activity, right, muffles voices. So since we're talking about artistic voice, then here's a way for you to really shine with your own interpretation of whatever it is that could possibly be, that you really have like a real energetic connection in some way. So it's
Right.
Mhm.
not just like, oh, I'll copy the weaving from something or other. And
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
And
feel no, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I feel that it being sort of spirit animal portraits, it could be considered that, right? It's not that far of a deviation from what you do now.
yeah.
It
No,
could
and that's why I think
it's
it
still
fits well.
it's actually not that like it could be even considered the same body of work depending on how you handle your paints, which I know your painting style is, which we talked about a couple of episodes ago, about how your artistic voice is not just the subject matter that you paint with, right? It has more to do with what you want to express as an artist and the way you handle your materials and like how everything comes together. And since this seems very close to the you wanting to capture the energy of people and people's spirit, I feel it's actually very close to, it's not that much of a deviation. It's actually, you can consider it the same.
Well, it's very close to interpreting the animals in the zodiac through people as well, because
which is something that you're super interested in,
that you've already been exploring. So that's kind of like a combination of many of your interests, right? Where you're exploring the energy, the vibrations, the symbolic associations, whether through the zodiac or someone's own personal iconography, e.g. their spirit animal, right?
Right.
That's kind of
articulated, Rose.
Well, it's fun to consider how you're so personable, and how it would actually be an enjoyable experience to talk to you if we wanted to talk about what's my spirit animal, and you help me kind of explore that, and then you paint through it, right? Like, that would be a nice engagement with you, I'm thinking.
That would be. No, I agree. And thank you for saying I'm personable. Yeah.
Well, you are, right? And you give off that energy that you're interested in.
Good. Great.
So you can probably pull it out of your subject, right? With just a couple.
I hope so.
That's the meta story, I think, Stephanie, is voice, right? Like it's you, all those words that Rose used to describe the vibrational qualities. It's like almost the same as voice in some kind of way.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Illustrating it, right where your fingers went.
I'd love to know, though, for you personally, because I know you've struggled with this in the past couple of months. It's not just now. Before you've been like talking about this for a while, where you're not quite sure where you want to go as an artist. How do you feel about this idea? How does this make you feel? Does it make you feel happier?
It does. It does. It gives me it does. It gives me hope. And I really enjoy painting animals as well, animal faces. I don't know what it is. I'm stuck on faces. I like painting faces, whether they be human, animal, musician, and musicians are human. So. But I'm stuck on faces. I just really like faces. So I like painting animal faces. And I think this will be a great reason for me to do that. And I want to explore more this whole spirit animal thing. I know a little bit about it, but I just think that it's something also that I can get into from a kind of a non-artistic point of view, Well,
and I could even see it where you would paint the portraits together with the animal. Your sound, you're muted.
It was perfectly muted at just the right.
I know.
Utter surprise and oh yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. I said that was a great idea. Like the portrait and the spirit animal.
Yeah, because then you step away. That gives you another opening into where your compositions are usually just one thing, to where you can include more. Give yourself more freedom.
Double energy.
Yeah, you're right. No, it's true.
But Lara wanted to say something. Wow.
No, I was saying that I think that you have to give it a try, and to see how you feel, because sometimes you need to change to discover what, and maybe it could stay for you for a while, and then you change another time. So I think it's good when you feel this inside you, because you open your mind and you are. It's frustrating because it's not a state where you are relaxed, because you are trying to find something. So it's not a good sensation, but it's because you are searching inside yourself. So you try, and trying, you will understand if it's something that you want to do for a while, maybe forever. No,
Yeah, who knows, right?
but it's a good thing. It's a very good thing that it's happening to you,
Yeah,
because I
I
think it's
agree.
to everybody when doing the artistic path. It's natural to arrive in some point that you need more, something more.
Right.
There is something that I don't know if I said another time the same, but it's a sentence that I impact me, that Michelangelo, when he was 84 years old, he said that he was learning, still learning, and we are always learning something.
Oh yeah,
So,
I agree.
along our path and changing and discovering and trying, we have to try.
Yeah,
We have to
it's
try.
true. It's true.
I
Yeah. So I'm
find
going
it
to give
very
it a try.
interesting.
I think I like the two. I like that idea of like the person and their spirit animal
Yeah.
together. I might do self-portrait first.
Yeah.
Try to
And there's
discover what
also
my
the-
own spirit animal is.
There's also the aspect to exploring someone's um, personal symbolism, like their spirit animal, that is akin to expressive arts therapy, where you can kind of connect with somebody and even like quite often, strangely enough, without meaning to, when I would do expressive arts therapy with someone, and we'd start with like nothing, like blank paper, and I'd have a table with pebbles and feathers and whatever, and people just tell people to do something. And often it would end up where the image that they saw and what they did was an animal, and an animal that was symbolic to them.
Interesting.
Like it's one of those kind of universal Jungian things, I think, that we all share, that there's these things that we see in abstract that kind of bring up what we relate to on a subconscious, unconscious level. So
Right.
in exploring that kind of thing with your subject, or even the subject that you're looking into, let's say Basquiat or whoever, that you kind of learn more on that energetic level that you're so interested in, right? That seems to be a common universal theme that many people have across cultures, is identification with certain animals.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
What I find
it's a-
very interesting, what Lara just said about you keep learning, and that as artists we all have this, because it's very clear from, and that's also partially why we started talking about this topic of artistic voice, that each and every one of us, and we're 5 right now, I'm not 100% sure, we haven't talked to Cheryl in depth about this, are having this urge to go outside of something that we usually do, to explore other venues and other styles, where the art world, when you navigate the art world as an artist, you're very often told to stay within a certain style, and to make sure that you don't confuse people, and that can be very constricting, and I find that very interesting, because I mean, we are 6, we are all experiencing this. I cannot imagine an artist out there that does not at some level experiences this.
Yes.
Right. I agree.
So
Two of my favorite, most influential artists in my life, Judy Chicago and Laurie Anderson, believe me, they never stayed in their own lane.
Right.
They are continually, to this day, innovating their medium, what they like, whether it's music or painting or film or installations. I mean, Judy Chicago just did this big, huge mural. I mean, she just keeps changing and changing and changing what she does. And as far as I'm concerned, watching her, I mean, she's been a huge influence on me from when I was a young artist and first saw the work, The Dinner Party. I admire that. I mean, I may not be buying her work. I would if I could, but I wouldn't care if it was like a dinner party plate or a later installation piece or writing. I wouldn't care. Like, it's her
Right.
voice.
Interesting.
Every
DJ
single,
Henry as well.
right? Like,
Right.
look her up. She's amazing. And so Laurie Anderson is not just a musical artist, not just a technical innovator, but also a visual artist and a filmmaker.
I didn't know that about Laurie Anderson. I didn't know she was a visual artist.
Oh yeah.
I just
Oh,
remember her
like,
from the 80s, you know.
like, oh yeah. Always changing. And oh my God, what's the name of that German artist that really influential? Gerhard Richter.
Gerhard Richter?
When you say, oh, I love Gerhard Richter's work, people have to go, well, which
Which
period?
one?
Which, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I remember him best for his encaustic, I think it's encaustic work. I think it was encaustic, right? The stripes.
It's so different throughout the career.
Yeah.
And yet he is considered, an investment artist and has been along the way. So how do we find a way to navigate that? Because I don't think it's right that as I change over the decades in my life, and I've been an artist all those decades, why would I still be doing what I did when I graduated from college? Art college?
Right.
Why would
Because
I
it's
be...
fucking scary to change, though.
But I mean, even Billie Eilish has just been recently quoted as,
Yeah, it's
"Why
true.
is everybody pissed off that I've changed? I grew up. Of course I've changed.
Right.
I'm not going to stay young Billie Eilish forever, and my music is not going to stay exactly the same. Hello, I'm an artist. Artists are innovators. How could we ever just...
Good
How
point.
boring.
Yeah.
Good point. I wish galleries understood that, but anyway.
Well, I think.
Well, no,
some
but
of them
that's
must.
exactly my point. That's sort
Go
of that's exactly why I said the art world that we try to navigate as artists can be very constricting, and oh, my power went back on. I personally find it very exhilarating to start navigating another style, but like Lara said, it's also freaking scary. Like yeah, it's very uncomfortable. Like earlier this week, I was lying awake at night because I was sort of thinking that I had messed up completely with the piece that I was working on, and then I came in the studio and I was like, no, I'm still happy with it. But because I did all this research into all the other artists, I keep seeing other abstract pieces coming up, and I'm like, oh, I like that better than what I did, and I didn't do that, and now my piece sucks, But it's not like, also it's not there yet. It's close, but it's not there yet. Right. So it's difficult because normally I have such a structured way of thinking, of knowing what to do and where to go and how to get from an empty canvas to a finished painting. Now I don't have a freaking clue what I'm doing, which is freaking scary.
That just made me have a massive, clear memory of young childhood and knowing my mud pie was not yet finished and it needed more. And then I thought, wow, how did I, at that young age, like we're talking maybe 3 or 4, how did I know that, no, I can't leave now. My mud pie is not yet complete.
Maybe you didn't see a crust on it.
No, I mean, mud pie in those days was like gravel and ragweed seeds and, whatever. You just lay it, like it was just making art, right? And I was so certain. And like Denise is like, oh no, is it? Okay, it's not that bad. And I'm like, but when I was really young, my brain was like, not yet, now.
Exactly. And it's weird because I don't have a freaking clue what I'm doing, but even though I don't know, I still know the next step to take.
Right.
Something inside of me is still telling me I now need to do this. to this painting.
Right.
For some reason. It's
That's the
very
exhilarating part.
Yeah, it
Intuition,
is.
That's right. Yeah.
Also, the
In-
scary
in-
part, but with every stroke, you think you're gonna fuck it up.
There's that part. Oh yeah.
There's always gesso.
And
I
it's
know.
acrylic.
Only for
Yeah.
painting in acrylic. So I've been using ink for years, and then I'm like, oh, no wonder I'm, spooked still. It's like you get one shot each time. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I love doing. I did live drawing for a while, and I loved doing them in ink because you only get the one try. And I do them fast. I do like quick sketches in ink. I love doing that.
I loved life drawing. I loved that.
Yeah.
It's very relaxing.
Oh yeah.
when it's going well. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a great teacher though. He was, it's all about the shadows and lights, right? And he would, he was fantastic. He was like George Brown. Anyway, 20 years ago. Long time ago.
You've been doing this for a while. You keep talking about how you're like the youngest practitioner in the group. But you've been doing this
Well,
for
that was
a
part
while.
of my graphic design certificate. That I took.
Still
life drawing.
counts. Still counts.
Still counts.
Still counts.
Still-
Look out! Is that what you said?
It still
Still
counts. It
It
starts
still
with-
counts. Yeah. No, for sure it does.
Life drawing is the basic of everything.
Yeah.
So
It all
good.
adds up.
So good. And I gotta say, it sounds like weird, but I gotta say, I really appreciated all the different bodies. It just, to me, I was just like, oh, okay, she's got that curve going there. Okay, that's a different kind of shadow there, darker shadow here. It's just, it was always very interesting.
So in my art college, we basically had this one old guy that would come. I don't know where he came from. I suppose this was his business, was to,
It was for the money.
put himself in rent and cigarettes. And he was just like this ugly, scrawny little person. And, not to be so ageist, ableist, and aestheticist, or is that an esthetician about it? But, it was like not really the most pleasant human being to be looking at, to learn about, anatomy and, how the body fits together. And
Oh, come on. You wanted a nice, voluptuous woman, right?
that would have been awesome.
You're like, I'm in art school. This is what they told me was going to happen.
What is this? It was the only model that seemed to line up with whatever schedule I had. So did I find my voice through that? I don't know, but I do have a package. Can we look at our package?
Yes. Exciting.
That package is finding its voice.
This International Art Alliance package is brought to you by the International Art Alliance Palimpsest project, in which we send art through the mail to each other so that we can scratch it and bite it and chunk it and saw it and redraw over it and paint it as we see fit, in accord with the. I didn't cut this whole one part here. With the
How does the box look? Because this is his
box
final
by
trip, I
Master
think.
Pack is amazing. So even though it has stickers all over it, like Aunt Mame's suitcase, it is really
I can't
very
name suitcase.
Because this
very
one,
good.
this was its final trip.
No,
Yes.
for real?
Yes.
This is the final
Is this the one that
line.
shows?
It's going to be the final thing on this one thing.
I can't wait to see
Yeah.
it.
You get to finish it.
Oh boy, that's
Oh,
really.
wow. Look at that
Look
beautiful
how-
box.
It's just holding up beautifully.
That's great.
Look, not any sign of wear and tear,
Yeah.
dents
Well,
or
this is its
bullet
sixth,
holes.
its sixth trip around the shipping universe.
Yeah.
Six
Yep.
trips around the shipping universe.
Wow.
Oh wow! Oh my goodness! Oh, this is so cool.
I know, right? It's a really cool piece.
Oh my god!
That is a really
I
cool piece. I
just
really like this
love
one.
this. Have you seen it yet? Do I dare show it to you? Do I keep it all to myself? I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. Ooh, it's got the passport in a beautiful passport bucket. And it's also got some tissue drawings tracing the head over it. Wow, that's pretty cool too. Okay.
Oh, wow. I love it.
Oh, Denise, that's so smart.
I added pictures from everywhere, from Vancouver, everywhere it had been, from London, because I figured I didn't have pictures from Buckingham because I used my own pictures. But I figured on its way to Buckingham, it must have stopped in London. So I did the Tower
Yes.
Bridge, and then I did the steam clock in Vancouver, and then I
Nice.
did the Toronto, the CN
Wow.
Tower, and then the Oratoire in Montreal. But that's still lying there because it was here when that was added.
And
Wow.
you added the push pins and then these
And
pins.
it pushed
No, the
here.
pins,
thing down.
there were
I love
already
it.
push pins there.
There were already push pins there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you did.
Inspired
here,
you, I guess?
add
No,
these?
those were also there.
They were also there. So you added the
The
artwork.
Yeah, because in the
Polaroid.
intention, in Cheryl's original intention, she suggests or mentions that it's going to accumulate the souvenirs and detritus of travel, right?
yeah.
So
Right.
I love it.
Good, Denise. Wow. Very creative. That's great.
It's amazing.
This
Well,
is
it
a
was
very
right up my
cool painting,
alley.
you guys.
I agree.
I know.
Okay, so the thing that you can't see is that these beautifully formed bubbles, you really can't tell, although maybe you can tell a little bit there.
Oh, yeah,
So
they're
you
little
have
iridescent.
iridescence and pearlescence and other kinds of essences in them.
Yeah.
and
That
Oh,
was
very
me.
nice.
it's so beautiful.
I added the pearlescent in the same colors that Laura painted it.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and I made sure that the bubble went over the photo in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, very thoughtful.
Yeah, I wanted the bubbles to have a little bit of the iridescence of the butterfly.
So cool.
I
Wow.
love it. Okay, this is
Is everything explained in the papers?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any ideas, Ross?
I have 3.
You can do anything. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
It's yours to
I can do
finish.
anything. Oh my God. I do have some ideas for sure. Wow. It's so cool. Look at this. So
It
is
is
this
a
like
very cool
Payne's
piece.
gray? Is this like a Payne's gray kind of underpainting, or?
Yeah, that's what Cheryl
Think so.
started, and then
Yeah.
I added the color on the face
And
and
what
the
kind
leaves.
of model had you been calling this? It's not a bark. It's a what?
It's an Azaro head.
A
Azaro
Zorro
head.
head. I never
Yeah.
heard that term up until I met you guys. I'm always learning about new materials when I hang out with my artist friends.
It's very like for portrait
Yeah.
artists. They're very familiar with that just because of all the different planes of the face.
I
And
think
the
I
head?
can get one. Are they expensive?
So Cheryl started it
I don't
in
have
all,
one, I don't know.
It was all shades of values of gray and white and black.
Yeah.
And then I gave the head the tan.
Mhm.
And Lara had given the colorful thought bubbles.
Mhm.
And then I put the leaves and the butterfly and the tan. Because
This was such a fun piece. It's such a fun piece to work on, this one, I found.
It
It
is.
brought me much joy.
You know what? I think I think I'm glad that I changed the propeller beanie to gray without all the color.
Yeah.
Because it does the color would like the eye would go right there, right? So this way the eye can you can take in
Travel.
all the different facets of
Yeah,
this
the values
painting,
are great in
bubbles,
this piece.
the pictures,
Yeah. Love it. Okay, we can't wait to see what you do.
Hey.
Yeah.
oh,
Okay.
I'm excited.
How fun. Well, that might have brought us to the end of our episode 70 today. Yay. Thank you, everybody in the world, for joining us as we pass art along to each other around the world. Please join us again, won't you? Bye.
Bye.